Hi, my name is Brooke Lippman.
And I'm Dr. Deb Lippman.
And this is Wine Together,
a podcast where we drink some wine and have a chat.
So sit back, relax, and get that corkscrew ready.
Cheers. What do you think?
Oh, that's good.
This is very local.
Yeah.
It's from a vineyard not too far away. A vineyard I've been to. I've only been to the vineyard, not been to where they do the tastings.
Yeah.
I've just hiked through the vineyard.
Okay.
And it's real close. We can take the boat from Solothurn to Beale.
Mm-hmm.
And we end up from the R River into the Beelersee.
Okay.
And this vineyard is on the Beelersee.
All right.
So that makes sense. And it's a chasselas, which is, I'm not sure if it's in France, but for sure in the United States, we know this wine as a Chablis.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's also French, so you know it as a Chablis. But it's, I can remember when I was young, and so if anybody from my graduating class listens to this, you're all going to laugh about this. But there were these evening soap operas, Dallas, Knots Landing, Dynasty. The women would drink Chablis.
Interesting. So in the
and I always thought I wanted to drink Chablis.
In the play Mr. Burns, they do they act out the commercials in the second act, because there are 3 acts. They're acting out because it's after the apocalypse and all that has happened, and so the point is this is a group that acts out Simpsons episodes, and they also act out commercials, and one of them is a Chablis commercial that they act out.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I thought just the way the word sounded cool.
Mm-hmm.
We said Chablis. And so, and then when we first moved here, and I tried some Swiss wines, and especially the Swiss white wines, and I had read that the chasselas had won a lot of awards, and especially the Swiss chasselas, and I thought, I'm going to try that, and so I did, and I loved it, and then found out it's just Chablis. So, anyway. Living my dream. Yeah. Getting to drink Chablis. Well, not today. I promise, Doc. I'm still drinking my water. So, but yeah, hopefully not too long. I get to drink some wine. Bought some non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try that this weekend. So
yeah,
I think I've tried two different ones. Is that right? 2 different ones. One was a panache. I had it with your dad cooked for us on the grill and invited his friend over. And I had a panache that day. It was non-alcoholic. And it was very sweet lemonade.
Yeah.
So I didn't buy any of those, but I bought a Guinness.
Yep.
A Leffe, which, I know a lot about that beer. I just know that we've had it.
Yeah.
And
Birra Moretti.
Yeah. An Italian beer, and as a non-alcoholic, I was so excited to see, there's Birra Moretti. That I had to get that one. So I was really just going to stick to those 2, and then I saw that. And then I started seeing that there were so many non-alcoholic beers.
Yeah.
So there's a Heineken I want to try. There's So
It's a lot.
I'm so excited.
And there's non-alcoholic spirits too. So there was the non-alcoholic rum.
Yes, there was a Captain Morgan's non-alcoholic, and I am so excited. So, I don't. I don't have to. I don't have to give up my cocktails now.
Yeah. See?
And
like
so I don't know that I can go back today, but I'd like to go back and get them.
I think like drinking, like in the idea of like drinking with your friends has become like it's such a big thing that they're like, oh well, like
not everyone
wants alcohol, so maybe we can they make it more accessible for people who can't or don't want to drink.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah, because these ones, these local ones, this is a white wine, so it's probably not, the alcohol content's probably not quite as high as some of the others, but just the fact that it's a local wine makes me so happy.
Yeah.
So now I have tried non-alcoholic wines, and it's really just sugar.
Yeah.
And it's not sugar, so I don't know how, but they say that, it's not added sugars, but I can't drink it. It just is way too sweet. So I can't drink the non-alcoholic wines, but beer and spirits I can. And so I'm going to keep that up. But we want to talk about this episode is going to drop on Father's Day.
Yes. Also, really quick, I think the reason it's because it's also being lit behind from the lights is why you can't read the sign.
Yeah, so sorry, but
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll have another way. My Pride book. I don't know if you want me to lump you in there. A Pride book that I have up on my shelf is one that I've read. I read this one when my son came out. He had left for college and didn't come out to me or his father until he left, went back to the United States and sent us an email. And I didn't know how to react. I guess I just thought, if my kids needed to come out to me, they just would do it. I didn't think that I ever gave off this this feeling that they couldn't trust me. But again, I wasn't the one that had to come out. So, this is what people who are in the community, the LGBTQIA plus community, face. They face not knowing their certainty. They face not knowing who's safe. And so, I faced it with my own family, my own kids. So it is heartbreaking. But anyway, I picked up this book when he came out. I picked up this book. I bought it in Switzerland. And we found it at our favorite little bookstore, Luthi. And it was in English. And I thought, okay, well, I'm buying it because I would search for lots of books, which books. And I found several. And so, we'll feature them this month. Happy Pride Month. And this one is What's the Tea by Juno Dawson. So it talks about the tea in the LGBTQIA plus community. And, and I really enjoyed it. And it's one of those books that you don't have to read every chapter because, I was looking for the tea. What's the tea? It's not a book only about tea, but it is a majority about the tea. So there are, other explanation type chapters that I didn't necessarily need. It didn't necessarily fit at the moment. I may have to go back to it. Who knows? But I really love it, and so I'm glad that we're featuring it today. So, what's the tea? Good stuff. But anyway, it's Father's Day.
Yes.
And so this is the second Father's Day. Your dad always gets 2 days in June.
Yeah.
Don't know why he gets 2 days.
Well, we can celebrate also the English Mother's Day for you. That's sometimes in March. It depends. Mothering Sunday is different.
I think the French Mother's Day was
we went through this on Mother's Day where we went through all the different Mother's Day.
And I think that, but I noticed a lot on social media the week after our Mother's Day. A lot of people in France that I follow or have connections with on social media, they were celebrating their mother, and so. So I thought, so there's two. But the first Sunday and the third Sunday are Father's Day. And so one in Switzerland and then, the U.S. So.
But you don't really see them, like, putting much out there for Father's Day, though.
You know what?
Like, I feel like they don't advertise that very much.
Right. Well, I don't know. We there were advertisements and just the theme of everything, which was, do you remember?
With the grilling stuff?
Yeah, the grilling stuff.
But they also, like, they don't have it for actual, like, Swiss Father's Day. So I think they just
Swiss
celebrate
Father's Day. I assume they just once they start putting the stuff out at the beginning of June, it's all themed around beer and grilling.
Yeah.
Which is okay. That's okay. Yeah. And so you got your dad some cute stuff, and I'm so excited about that.
Yeah.
And there's chocolate, but I'm not gonna get to share that.
No. That's okay. I won't either. He gets it all to himself because it has almonds in it. So.
Oh my gosh, and it looks so delicious. I mean, that is a huge chocolate bar. It does look delicious. So Okay.
Next year he has to let you eat whatever, like get you a big chocolate bar and let you eat it all by yourself because he gets this whole thing all to himself.
Yeah. Well, I would take a rib velvet cake, but I would
you can't eat a whole cake, though.
I would share.
But to be fair, the summer that I did my internship, I did get an entire cake to myself. It was a small cake, and it was a gift from everyone on the cast, so that was really nice.
That's so nice. Yes. Oh, yes. I mean, we were talking about kind of getting back to... this is gonna stay with our self-care thing that seems to be going through this month. I think it makes sense that we have a whole month of just at least dotting the landscape of our show with self-care, because especially during Pride Month, we want people to feel safe to come out. I mean, it's
well, we should have done that during May, because May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yeah, well, we'll know that for next year. You should definitely feel safe coming out. You shouldn't feel scared. May
is also Asian Pacific Islander Month?
I don't know.
Or is that April? No, that's May. What, is April? I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Can't keep up with them.
I know. We're too late to remember that.
Unfortunately. Yeah, that would be true.
Mm-hmm.
But to our people out there in the community, we just... stay safe. Just, know you have advocates in us, for sure. 100%. But Father's Day.
Yeah.
Why the grill? Why does I'm good at the grill.
Yeah, but I think it's like typically it goes back to like the patriarchy and like why men are the ones that are supposed to be doing the outside work, which includes grilling.
Well, that's weird.
So grilling has always been like...
including on the grill.
Yeah.
You know what? When we had our little gas grill, though, in our house in North Carolina, or the last house we had in North Carolina, I should say our house we had here. But the last house we were living in North Carolina, we had a gas grill. I did all the grilling.
Okay. I don't really remember that much grilling, but,
I did, when we would have grill parties.
Yeah.
Well, not with my friends, but with kids' friends. But I did the grilling.
Yeah.
Because I did all the cooking and prep and everything back then.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think he doesn't do like a lot, but he cooks occasionally too. So I mean, yeah. And sometimes I have cooked as well. I can't grill though. I'm scared of the grill.
Oh, you shouldn't be. I like the grill. I like the grill that we have here because it's honestly is like an outdoor oven.
And honestly, because the way the grill is, you can grill when it's raining.
Absolutely. We can grill in any weather with our outdoor
grill in the snow.
Because it's kind of like it's a brick oven, basically.
Yeah, and there's a little
rotisserie
glass
with a
awning.
rotisserie.
I was going to say a little glass awning over it.
It's covered. And so, we're a little bit spoiled. A little bit spoiled here.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice, and our whole balcony runs the whole length of our apartment, and I should say our flat. It's more, and so it's we can reach the balcony from any door that is on that side of the flat. So it's kind of nice. Yeah.
Okay, so I know flat is the British word for apartment, but is there actually a difference between apartment and flat?
Yes, in that some apartments actually have more than one level.
Okay.
living level.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a flat. So, when you, it's flat. Flach is the term in German. So das ist ein Flach. You'll see, office spaces for rent. Flach vermieten.
Okay.
Because it's flat spaces.
Also, it's also Wohnung.
Apartment is Wohnung, in German. So, So we're learning. If you're learning. A little bit of German mixed in there. That's kind of fun. So what do you think your dad is going to want to do for Father's Day?
I don't know. He's not very particular. He'll probably want to go on a bike ride, but it's also supposed to rain on Sunday.
Oh, I don't think he knows that yet.
Okay.
Because I can guarantee you are correct. He is going to want to go on a bike ride. He's in June. This is the month of June. So if you use Strava at all for your fitness app, there's challenges every month on Strava. And for June, the elevation on a bike the elevation challenge is 7,000 meters.
And he also has to go.
That's 21,000 feet, people.
He also has to go 40 kilometers on this weekend.
This weekend, is it Saturday or Sunday, or does it matter?
I don't know.
Just
I just heard him talking
He's got to
about
do 40 kilometers, you're right, over the weekend. That's another challenge. So he's probably working on, I don't know, 8 challenges. Right now he's got 8 different challenges. I have several challenges on my Strava as well.
I've not done anything. I can't do anything on it.
And so, why?
Because I can't go out, I can't breathe when I'm running. So
yeah. Well, I mean, you need to be going for walks.
Yeah. And
you could easily do that elevation challenge. Well, I know it's kind of big. My elevation challenge this month is 2,000 meters. So, I'm having to work really hard. And, that is hard, when my back's hurting the way it is right now. There was a 10-day challenge. You can still get that. And one of them is Pride Month 10-day challenge. Okay. So you can do the 10-day challenge. You can easily exercise if you record any exercise on Strava for 10 days.
I'm supposed to record it on my Apple Watch and on Strava?
No, because if your Apple Watch is set to Strava.
Okay, because it doesn't record on Strava even though my Apple Watch is set to Strava.
It's connected.
But also my Apple Watch is really old.
Yeah, I would either on your laptop or phone, I would open it in Strava to record your exercise. Because, you can do those 10-day challenges. I've got these 2 10-day challenges that I finished today. Okay. Because I didn't exercise on Sunday. So I did take a day off.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're supposed to. I take 2 rest days a week.
Yeah. Well, I technically rested Monday too because I followed your dad all around Switzerland.
Well, you were out in the sun a lot, which is also a lot for you. Yeah. So... Anyway, we were talking about Father's Day.
Yeah, Father's Day. So, I think he'll want to go for a bike ride. I think...
you guys also have to go somewhere so I can do my laundry.
Probably like to grill one day this weekend. So, he'll fall into the trap of, the stereotypical Father's Day. He'll grill. Yeah. He'll call his dad.
Theoretically.
I think that he will. I think that he normally does. He did call his mom on Mother's Day. Well, no, he did not. We called her because he was with her.
Right? No, he wasn't with her.
He wasn't.
No, wait.
He was with her on her birthday.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought it was one of those days.
He was with her a month before Mother's Day, so we did call.
Yeah.
On Mother's Day.
Sorry, you're right. I was confused.
Yeah, I was too at first. So I think, that's what he'll do. I hope that others will call or at least text.
They might not remember it's Father's Day, though.
Well, you can remind everybody. I tend to send around the birthday message. I didn't yesterday. I shouldn't send everybody, don't forget, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't. But I didn't forget. Yeah. I promise. I remember to say happy birthday and send again. So. But, I mean, I think that one thing your dad... He doesn't like kind of what he calls Hallmark holidays. But isn't every holiday a Hallmark holiday? I mean,
at this point,
I realized that Hallmark didn't kind of make Christmas on the date that they did. I'll be honest with you, I don't know why Christmas is set on the date that it is.
Because a mix of Christianity, pagan religions, like all that, and like their beliefs. There was a German pagan holiday. It was like around the winter solstice, so December 20th, 21st, plus of like the Christian beliefs of like Jesus being born. That night was around the winter solstice, so it kind of just.
He was born in April or something.
It doesn't matter. The point is, they believed it was around the winter solstice, and that's why Christmas became on the 25th.
Okay. Well,
mostly
I don't mind it
German...
because I like that it kind of wraps up our year. Mm-hmm. I like that it's still kind of early in winter, so you know, the nights are long and cold, and I can, even if I'm bundled up on the balcony with all the lights on, I mean, I know I keep my lights up year round, but I don't turn them on all the time. But around that time of year, they're on every night. And so, I can, bundle up and sit out there if I want to. I used to sit out there and drink a glass of wine, but no. When that's going to happen again. But, I mean, I like it being that time of year. I don't mind it at all. And, so especially, oh my goodness, around here, Christmas, you and I are just in hog heaven with the Christmas markets. Oh my gosh. I'm not sure, because I only have a very limited knowledge of the United States. I've lived in 3 states. Is that correct?
I don't know.
I've been in houses, like, for extended periods of time, lived in 3 states.
Or did you not live in Virginia at all?
Well, not in my own place. But, so, technically, it was North Carolina, Maryland, and Massachusetts.
Okay.
Mostly North Carolina. And so, I don't know about Christmas markets. I don't know if anybody does a European type Christmas market in the United States, but it would be kind of interesting to find out if they did. I know there's this town in Washington State. I had read a book, about this these people who were going to exchange houses at Christmas. And of course, it's one of those little romance novels, just so you know. And of course, it's one of those that you can read in a day. Just take the time because you can't put it down. Anyway, they were going to exchange houses, and the man was a professor at Harvard. The lady was a teacher in Washington State, and she lived in this little town. I'll tell you the name of it in a minute. And she was missing her daughter, who was a student at Harvard. And so she thought, I'm going to surprise her. And so she went on a website where you can exchange houses, basically. And so this professor said, that's exactly where I want to spend Christmas, Leavenworth. He didn't pay attention that it was Leavenworth, Washington, till, it's a little too late to back out of it. He thought he was going to, I think it's Kansas, where the big prison, the military prison is. So anyway, because he was a history professor.
Okay.
And so he was going to go to Leavenworth, spend his holidays there, and she wanted to be in Boston near her daughter. And so they made the plans to exchange places, and he finds out he's going to Leavenworth, Washington. He thought, still, it's kind of funny. I'll go anyway. And he gets there, and he is so not a Christmas person. And this is a freaking Christmas town. They go all out. Well, guess where I went right after I saw you 3 years ago when you were on your internship that you were talking about earlier.
Went to Leavenworth.
I went to Leavenworth, Washington.
Well, it wasn't at Christmas time, so.
No, it wasn't. But it is this, I guess they, I don't know if they call themselves a Bavarian town or a Swiss town, but anyway, they got the Swiss and German flags there. And it was so funny because we'd already been living in Switzerland for a little while when I went there. And so I wanted to go and speak German to people. Well, nobody there speaks German.
That's like going to Canada and trying to speak French with people. Most people there don't actually speak French.
Yeah, a few probably.
There's like a few places that have quite a few French speakers,
Mhm.
but still not even the majority. I think just on the eastern parts of Canada, there are some places that are majority French speaking, but
Okay.
yeah.
I know that this was, it was so funny because when we were coming up on the sign,
Mm-hmm.
it dawned on me about that book that I read.
Mhm.
And so I started explaining the book to your dad, like I
Mhm.
just did here. And he was like, you know, wasn't interested in all that, but let's stop, you know.
Yeah.
And even though we hadn't plans
Mhm.
to stop. And it was so funny because that particular trip, there were lots of places where we
Yep.
didn't plan to stop, that we just went ahead and made a stop.
Mhm.
And so that was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
That really was a lot of fun. And one of the hotels there was Brooks Rooms or something like that. I took a photo of it for you. But
Well, there's like a Brooks Brothers Tavern in Brevard, right? Or Brooks Tavern or something
I
like
don't-
that.
oh yeah. Brooks.
Brooks
I think it's Brooks Tavern.
I thought it was Brooks Brothers.
Is it? Maybe
There's
it is.
something somewhere that is called Brooks Brothers.
That's a men's clothing
Okay,
store.
is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a well-known men's clothing store. But
I thought the
yeah,
tavern was also called it. I don't know. I'll ask Ren.
I thought it was just Brooks Tavern.
I'll
yeah,
ask
ask Ren.
Ren.
He'll know because
Obviously,
he
he'll
lives
know.
right down the road.
Yeah. Good. But anyway, yeah, Father's Day. Keep
I
getting
know. We
distracted.
keep getting. Well, I don't. Think
I don't know.
we're getting
There's
too
not much
distracted
to
from it.
like
I
talk
think-
about with it.
Well, you know, we've always done something special for your dad. You know, so the past few years, especially since living here, you've always gotten him something for his bike.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't this year. And
No,
you
I
go ahead and
didn't.
reveal what you got because nobody's going to see this until
Yeah,
Father's
that's
Day.
true. Well, I got him those socks that they're kind of like those washcloths that you put in the water, but I don't know if you put them in the water to.
Zalberzaken.
Yeah,
So
magic socks.
Yeah, magic socks.
And then we got a bottle opener with a magnet.
Yeah, which
and
we don't need a
yeah.
bottle opener, but it's still, it's got a magnet. It's
Yeah,
kinda
and
cool.
it's really cool.
What does it say?
Something about grilling and beer, I think.
Oh,
And then
Of course.
what else? Oh, we got the mints, in the little tin
in the
thing.
tin, the mountains
Yeah.
are calling. So, yeah,
Mhm.
I like that tin, you know,
Mhm.
because the mountains do tend to call us for obvious reasons for Todd because he wants to ride his bicycle up the
Mhm.
mountain, which I
Well,
have no
he could
desire
put
to
the
do
mints
now.
in his bike thing.
Yep.
So
Yeah, and
that
so
works.
yeah, I don't know. I can't ride up hills like that.
Hmm.
But he
Okay, I can't either.
you know, I when I went on that bike ride with him, I had to push my bike up the hills. And there were some of the hills I made it up by myself
Mhm.
without having to get off the bike, but two of them
Hmm.
I couldn't make it up.
Yeah, I can't go down hills either.
Oh my
I'm too
goodness,
scared to go
I'm
down hills.
so terrified of downhills
Hmm.
on my bike. I feel so out of control, and I know this is gonna sound completely stupid. Every time I get on my bike, I reach for a seatbelt because I'm terrified of
Yeah.
being on the bike.
Yeah.
And this morning, of course, I had to get up because he sends me a text.
Mhm.
I forgot my glasses. And
He's getting
99%
so
of
old.
the time, he would just turn around and come back. For some
Yeah.
reason, he didn't today. And I'm like, do you need me to bring him? And he's like, well, yeah, if you don't mind. And I thought, I'm still in bed. But I didn't say that. I just said, yeah, I just need 5 minutes to get dressed.
Mhm.
And so I get on my bike to ride down because we no longer have bus service to
Mhm.
the area. I rode my bike, and I'm so glad I went because I saw a former coworker and got to talk to him for a while. It was just
Mhm.
great. But every time I get on my bike, no matter where I'm going, I automatically think, oh, I don't feel safe,
Mhm.
and I want to put a seatbelt on.
Mhm.
It's stupid, I know, but you know, it's just how it is.
Mm.
But you know, he's a big bike rider,
Mhm.
and so
Well, on Monday you're going with him to watch bike riding.
I am going to watch Tour de Suisse. I'm actually going to go to watch more than one stage, and there's a slight chance. Oh shoot! I was thinking about going to Stott early tomorrow morning to go watch the women's Tour de Suisse because last year the Tour de Suisse, the women started at the end of the men's.
Mhm.
Looks like this year they're going to be running around the same time.
Interesting. Well, they probably want to do it now because the women's Euros We'll be here in a few weeks.
Yeah. That's
so
right,
they
that's
have
right.
to like not have two major things going on right back to back.
Yeah, right at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, the women start tomorrow, and so I don't know. So, but it's exciting because I know this is dumb, but your dad gets so excited when he sees the bike, the bikes, and he's like, "Ooh, that's a really nice bike. Ooh, that bike probably costs $10,000. He'll tell me all about the bike, and I'm like, you can look at the bike and tell that?
Yeah, because he's looked at those bikes
he
for
has
himself.
looked at those bikes, yes. Oh, and he'll say, "Oh, it's so lightweight. Oh, blah 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 blah." And
that's why he wants me to do a triathlon so that I can get a triathlon bike. Because no, actually, he couldn't take my bike that I would get if I got a triathlon bike. It would be too short for him.
It would be too short for him. Yeah, he likes to stretch his legs, but he likes to seat high, legs stretched out. Not like I like to sit on my bike. like I'm being carted around, back straight, just having such a good. And it's so funny because when I lean down and I start picking up my speed, I'm like, okay, stop, Deb. Just enjoy the ride. Just stop. And so I'll put my back up straight again, and put my arms out. But I want my bike ride to be like the little old lady with the cute little flowers in her basket, maybe a puppy, and just, out for a ride.
You just really look like Mrs. Gulch from The Wizard of Oz.
Okay, yeah.
That's the lady who was also the Wicked Witch of the West. Who she tried to kill Toto.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
she like sits all straight up.
I as a kid, I remember the freedom I felt like I had when I got on my bike. I wasn't allowed to go very far, and I know I've said that before on this podcast. I wasn't allowed to go far, but there was still a freedom about it because I was strong enough, and had the time. And I loved riding my bike.
I never liked it. Until I was like 17, I didn't learn how to ride without training wheels because I did not like riding my bike at all.
Do you feel like unsafe, like you need a seatbelt?
I feel like I'm gonna fall.
Yes. I always have this unease that I can't explain. But now I'm pretty good at my bike. I mean, I can I've gone to Beaverist many different ways, and that's always uphill. I don't care which way you go into Beaverist. You're gonna have to climb a hill. I've gotten much more confident that if I'm gonna go somewhere, I say, okay, well, I gotta get there in a hurry. I'll take my bike. So that my confidence has grown in that, and I hope that that happens for everybody. Those of you struggling with confidence about certain things, I hope that you'll keep at it and just be more confident, because that's really, confidence in one thing. Like you're a confident dancer. I know you're not confident with the voice part, but if you keep it up, you would become confident. And so you're a confident dancer. And so this is, when you're dancing, you just kind of look like you're free. You just have this confidence in it makes me cry to watch you dance. I love to watch you dance. Yeah. And so I think that when you find something like that, no matter what it is, people, just think of what those who care about you, how they feel watching you be that confident, and to just keep going with it, because
I thought you were going to round it out and bring it back to Father's Day and say that.
Well, okay, I can. Let me finish it up.
Okay.
I think that as adults, when we have children, even if we weren't necessarily confident going into it, I think we find a way. I think your dad has found a way to be more confident. Just because he knows that he has to set that example. And he is a very confident person. You got to give him that.
Yeah.
Much more confident than I am.
What kind of candy does this taste like? This tastes like a certain kind of candy, not cotton candy.
No, it tastes like the hard candies that have like not
The
quite
ones
the
with the
pineapple.
little strawberry things. You know the little strawberry wrappers? Those candies.
What strawberry wrappers? They're wrapped in strawberry. What do you mean?
No. The wrapper looks like a strawberry.
Okay, I was thinking it's more like the Lifesavers, like the
A little
pineapple
bit,
type
yeah.
Lifesavers. So
Yeah.
that's what I thought it tasted like. But I think it's really good. I like
know,
a
it
white
tastes
wine.
really-
It's so funny because when I first moved here, I did not like white wine.
Interesting.
I was only a red wine drinker or a chocolate wine
Yeah.
drinker. Every once in a while, I'd get chocolate wine.
I don't think I've ever had chocolate wine.
Oh my goodness. Oh, you have got to try chocolate wine. When we go to the U.S., we'll get a chocolate
I'm going to have to
wine.
save this for Dad, though, because I don't hate it, but it's
Yeah.
not my favorite.
Well, yeah, he doesn't mind drinking it. Yeah,
Mhm.
happy Father's Day, Dad. You can get some white wine.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not a white wine drinker, and I came here, and somebody, I think it was the man who helped us find the apartment.
Oh, yeah.
In
That
fact,
person.
a couple, yes. Yeah, we looked at two places that were
Mhm.
close to the Beelersee,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and one was a castle.
Okay. Yeah.
And when we were over there, we could see the vineyards. They had, it was April, and so they were cleaned up and freshly planted, but they're barely growing.
Mhm.
But there's a very good time to see the vineyard. And he said, "Oh my goodness, wait till you taste the Swiss white wines." And I was like, "Right." You're talking everything Swiss, like this place is so great. And so I thought, okay, well, I did.
Mm-hmm.
I tasted the Swiss. In fact, that night I probably had a Swiss white wine at dinner, and I thought, wow, this is much better than the white wines I've ever had. And so then when I went back to the U.S., so that was April. We found the apartment. I went back, and then we moved like at the end of June.
Mm-hmm.
And so then in July, I tried a different Swiss white wine, and I immediately called Crystal. You guys have met Crystal. We had her on last month, and I said, I'm bringing you one of these wines when I come.
Mm-hmm.
And so I brought a bottle of that white wine, and then I talked to her later after I came back to Switzerland. I said, "What do you think of it?" She said, "You are exactly right." She said, "I couldn't believe I got a buzz off of white wine." She said, "And it tastes good."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "I know.
Yeah.
I know." So I do like the Swiss white wines.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I think your dad likes the Swiss white wines.
Yeah.
But for Father's Day, I think he usually has beer.
Yeah.
I think he usually has beer.
Well, he's already
Father's Day.
finished up his last Father's Day beer, so.
Yeah, so he did get a big beer for Swiss Father's Day,
We
and
had
he
that
finished
on-
that today.
We drank some of it on Football Friday, the
Oh,
last
good,
Football
yeah.
Friday episode.
Did you show the big jug?
No, I don't
Oh,
think so.
you should
But
But yeah, it's a big beer from
it's the
Bergdorf
farmer's beer because
Farmer's beer.
well, I don't know if it really, but
Well,
you get it at
you
Londy,
get it
which
at
is the
Londy.
farmer's store.
Yeah.
It's like Tractor Supply, but Swiss.
Yeah, it's a Swiss Swiss farmer store. Which, I love Londy.
Yeah.
So I can even get clothes there.
I know.
And I love Londy
Yeah.
at Christmas because, oh my goodness, they have the best Christmas decorations. And of course, lots of lights because I love the lights.
Mhm.
And I like the lights any time of year, and I know I've already said it, but
Mhm.
I really do love them at Christmas.
Mhm.
But it's not Christmas, it's Father's Day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think your dad's going to have a good one. He usually does. We try to usually make sure that I'm probably not cooking breakfast.
That's okay.
I cooked breakfast for Swiss Father's Day. I made the traditional German breakfast, and I got so full, and I was kind of. But I think this Sunday, this particular Father's Day, we've got stuff we need to do, and I know he's got that challenge that he's working on, so he's really going to be working on kind of climbing mountains with his bike for the next few weeks. I don't think that we're going to see much of him on the weekends. He's definitely going to be spending hours away from home climbing mountains, but But I think he's halfway through the challenge. I think that's great.
Yeah.
He's done good. But guys, it's time to end this one, and we hope you've enjoyed the conversation.
We'll be back next week with a new bottle of wine and a new topic. In the meantime, if you want to join the conversation, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Wine Together Pod. Join our Facebook group, Wine Together Podcast. And if you don't want to miss out on our regular weekly episodes, along with all our bonus content, you can find us wherever you get your podcasts, as well as liking, subscribing, and commenting on our YouTube, Wine Together Podcast.